The Kuva Bramma is the hot new weapon that can explode packs of enemies with a single shot. It is amazing at clearing trash, and it does tons of damage in a very wide radius. I believe that this is the strongest weapon in Warframe right now, around 2020 era, and during the Deadlock Protocol update. A lot of people might not have a Kuva Bramma, or they might not understand the investment for one. So today I wanted to cover a quick guide showing you how to get a perfect Kuva Bramma that has 60% toxin, which I believe is the best modifier on it. And then you can go around and do stuff like this and just blow up anything you want with a single shot. And this weapon should last you all the way up until level 200-ish. So with that out of the way, let's get started on how to get this weapon. The first thing you need to know about this weapon is it takes you a good 20 hours to get this. This might seem like a big investment for a lot of people, especially after the new nerf. It can be cut down pretty significantly by just trading for one. You can obviously trade for one that is 55% and one that is less than that, and then just infuse them together. So to get started on the old-fashioned route, what we're going to do is farm Cassini, capture mission, and we're going to kill Kuva larva spawns, and we're going to hope that they drop the weapon that we need. So you start off by killing the target, and then you want to head to extraction. And after you kill the target, you might notice a little bit of screen flicker. Your screen will turn slightly orange, and this means start killing enemies. After you kill a certain amount of enemies, your Kuva Larvling will spawn. Then all you have to do is run over to your Kuva Larvling, kill it, and figure out which weapon it's going to drop. After you kill your Larvling, be very careful, don't just start jamming X. Wait for it to show which weapon, and if it's the wrong weapon, just kill them until you get the one that you want. This kind of thing takes several tries, and since there's so many weapons, there's a good chance that you're not going to get the weapon that you want on the first try, even on the 5th try. I think the average for getting just one weapon that you want is probably going to be somewhere in 10-ish runs. I've had it in a lot longer. I've had it go for 20 runs. I've had it go for 4 runs. But the runs, they usually only take about 2 minutes each, so hopefully you can get that in less than half an hour. So with this step out of the way, and you've gotten a Kuva Bramma all for yourself, you have to turn in the Kuva Bramma by going to extraction, and then you have to hope and pray and see what strength Kuva Bramma you get. There's a lot of fluctuation on the Lich's power levels of the weapons, and on average, the average weapon power level is going to be around 38%. This is a global average, and the Kuva Bramma especially, it can be very frustrating to get weapons that are a lot lower percent than the one that you're looking for. You don't want to start your Valence infusion until you have at least a 50% weapon, because at 50% it'll upgrade 5%, and at 55% it'll upgrade 5% to 60%. So check out your new Kuva Lich and see what the base power of your new Kuva Bramma is. If it's a weak one, don't worry about it, just hold on to it. There's a good chance that you're going to wind up getting a better one slightly later. So 38%, and this one's Toxin, and that's the weapon type that we're looking for, and a decent strength. Again, 38% is around average. Unfortunately, if you start upgrading at around 38%, you're going to have a lot of trouble. So just throw in some Requiem mods, and you're going to have to start the Kuva Lich grind, which I'm pretty sure you guys are all familiar with at this point. But I'm just going to show off what it is like to grind for these. Unfortunately, you're going to have to farm a lot of Murmurs. So I recommend just doing missions that cannot be failed. Missions like capture, sabotage, rescue, and just go in, start killing thralls. Every time you kill a thrall, you get some of the Requiem Murmur progress, so you're going to have to wind up killing a lot of these thralls. Each Lich that you get, it's going to take you probably an average of around 2 hours of thrall farming, plus attempts at trying to kill your Lich. After you find out the correct Requiems, you are going to have to put them in the right order in order to get the kill on your Lich. So I know it's really annoying, but you just have to farm these thralls over and over again until your Requiem level gets high enough that you unlock the Requiems, and then once you have them all unlocked, you can start attempting to kill your Liches. If you happen to run into your Lich during the course of you farming out these Requiem mods, I 100% recommend you take the time to kill the Lich, and then you get a chance to test out your Requiem mods. And even if you don't manage to get the correct ones on the first try, it still gives you some valuable information, and it gives you about 10 Murmur progress, I believe. So if you run into your Lich in the wild, just take the couple seconds to kill him and test out your Requiem mod. Thankfully nowadays, even if you die, you can still just respawn as long as the Lich didn't kill you with an ability, I'm pretty sure. So if you test out your mod and it's wrong, what I wind up doing is I go back to the Lich menu and I'll just hit modify, and then I'll simply take the first mod that I have and swap it straight in with the second mod. Since it's completely random and there's no way to tell, I honestly just swap them because it's easy and it's fast. So you're going to get back on the Requiem grind. It's going to take a long time, but eventually you'll get enough Requiems that you know all 3 of the Requiems, and you can try to put them in the right order through trial and error by killing the Liches. Since the Requiem takes so long to get solo, a lot of people do like to do it in groups. I usually do it in solo because other people's Kuva Liches can be a hassle. But every time you mess up, you do get a lot of progress, and eventually you will get the right one in the right order, and when you do, you'll get your first kill. I think it's perfectly acceptable to just stick with one Bramma. A lot of people don't need a perfect Kuva Bramma. It is a really powerful weapon, but honestly, like a 38% Toxin Kuva Bramma is really strong, and the only way to make it better is to Valence infuse it with other Kuva Brammas. So every time you want your Kuva Bramma to improve, you're unfortunately going to have to go back in, start farming the Kuva Larvlings again, and you're going to wind up investing another 20 minutes, checking out these Kuva Larvlings until you find another Kuva Bramma Larvaling. And this can be really frustrating, and this is something I would recommend that you just buy. Obviously, you can save time and money by doing it yourself, but I would recommend buying these. I would recommend you just start by buying a 55% Toxin or Shock Kuva Bramma. If you do this, it lets you skip a large majority of the grind for the Kuva Bramma, which is going to be spawning Liches and hoping for a percent above 50%. Each Lich that you spawn is going to have a random percent. 25% is the lowest. Unfortunately here I got a 25%, but it was Shock, so this is good Valence infusion fodder. So here's where the real grind begins. You just have to start making new Kuva Bramma Liches and just killing them. And every single time you kill a new Lich, you get another Kuva Bramma to work with. So after killing 3, 4, 5 of these Liches, I guarantee you that just percentage-wise, you will wind up getting one that is close to 50%. If you don't wind up getting one that's close to 50% in your first 4 or 5 Liches, again, I would recommend just buying a Kuva Lich from the marketplace. Just have somebody trade with you and sell you a Kuva Lich that has a base percentage of at least 45, preferably 55. 55 means a single Valence infusion will allow you to bring it all the way up to 60, which is the maximum. If you farm out 5 of these Kuva Brammas and then your 6th Kuva Bramma is a 55% and you only have to infuse it once, that's still totally fine because you now have extra Kuva Brammas. Maybe the meta will change in the future and Toxin won't be the best kind of damage type. So it's perfectly fine to have 5 Kuva Brammas because you can change your damage type later. Unfortunately, this part is a little bit difficult for people who don't have a lot of room. Each Kuva Bramma does take up a weapon slot, so when you're doing your Valence infusion, just be a little bit careful. Make sure that if you do already have a Kuva Bramma, make sure you're not Valence infusing your Kuva Bramma that you've already leveled up or already formed. So this one is level 30 that I have, but I don't want to waste one that I have Forma invested into. I'm pretty sure that they fixed this by allowing it to just automatically go to the highest percent, and the second damage type will always be the chosen damage type. So if you start with like a Fire Kuva Bramma, and you try to Valence infuse a shock Kuva Bramma, then it will always wind up being shock. So start with a bad element and then infuse your toxin in, and you'll get a 60% toxic Kuva Bramma. This part is one of the longest parts of the grind, but right after that, slap on a catalyst and it's time to start a Forma grind. So everybody's favorite thing in Warframe is formatting a weapon 5 times so that you can get to the maximum mastery rank of it. You can do this in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. Just bring the weapon in, start getting kills in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and bring a Smita Kavat and an Affinity Booster with you. Otherwise, this grind can be really, really long. So you're going to have to keep getting Formas, keep putting them on to your weapon. You have to keep going back to Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, get as many kills as you can, do as much damage as you can, and it should take you 3 or 4 waves to get it maxed out. So yeah, just enjoy your mindless, numbing grind. Maybe grab a drink or put on some music or a podcast, something like that. The only thing that I do care about on the Formas, since it comes base with a V polarity, I do 3 V polarities, and I do 2 of the single line polarity, and that'll help you have a wide variety of mods. And honestly, the Kuva Bramma has 80 upgraded mod slots to work with, so you have a lot of room and there's a lot of forgiveness for putting mods in the wrong slot. So you've completed your Kuva Bramma and you're leveling it up, and now's when you start to notice its big drawback, is the massive, massive range of it, and how often you're just going to get staggered and knocked back. You just get staggered and knocked back over and over and over again. You try to line up shots and people walk in front of you, or you clip edges and you just get yourself blown up and knocked back over and over and over again. So it can be really challenging to get a good hold on this weapon and make sure you're not reflecting arrows into yourself or standing too close and getting blown up. So this is one of the big downfalls of the weapon, but otherwise it's totally great. Since this weapon is so strong, I highly recommend that you go out and buy a Lua lens. Take the time to farm out the Eidolon lens and a Lua lens. Buy a Lua lens, build it, and go ahead and slap it on your Kuva Bramma. You can see here that Warframe is as buggy as always, and my trade just fails for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I just start the trade again, and it works. It says previous trade, and then it works. Shit like this happens all the time. If you wind up trading for somebody and you're trying to trade a Lich, or you're trying to trade for like a Lua lens and it fails, don't worry about it. You can farm Lua lenses and somatic fibers on the disruption node in Lua. So all you have to do is build your lens, grab an Eidolon lens. Eidolon lenses come from Plains of Eidolon bounties. It's pretty high drop chance on the highest one. You see me rush this lens right here just because it's 10 platinum. The main benefit of having this weapon is, since it does so much damage, after you put on both of these lenses and after you've farmed out all of your Forma, you can grab a Saren, put a Lua lens on your Saren, grab your Kuva Bramma, put a Lua lens on your Kuva Bramma, and then this weapon becomes amazing for focus farming. Saren plus Kuva Bramma, the armor strip in the wide AoE effect, you can usually finish your focus grind. If you have a booster, you can finish it in 8 waves, if you have a booster and a Smita Kavat. If you don't have a booster or a Smita Kavat, usually it still is really, really high. You're looking at upwards of 150,000 focus per run, I believe. And all you really have to do is press 1 to put out her spores, press 4 to spread the spores, and then kill stuff with the Kuva Bramma. You can see here I earned 90 plus 60 plus 18 plus 33,000 focus in a single run. So here's my favorite part about the Kuva Bramma. I worked so hard on it and they just nerfed it. The biggest problem with the Kuva Bramma was the ammo pool, and obviously their idea of how to nerf it best would just be to reduce the ammo pool from 15 to 5. If this happens to you and you're crying inside, just put on Vigilante supplies, put on an Exilus weapon adapter and put on Vigilante supplies, and then you can enjoy the best weapon in the game without having to worry about that ammo constraint too much. Thank you everyone for checking this out, and just try to enjoy this weapon while it's still around. It does 40,000 damage, massive crit multiplier, really good weapon.